Hello YouTube, this is Darkon633. We're taking a look at another Transformers Robots in Disguise 2016 toy review. This time we're going to take a look at Thunderhoof in the Warrior class line. Now Thunderhoof has already been released in both the Legion class and the 3-step, and I think also a Mega 3-step changer. So it's still pretty cool to see Thunderhoof in the Warrior class scale. Now, while I like this figure, there's a few minor problems that I do not like about the figure, even though it doesn't really hurt the overall look of the figure to me personally. It still kind of is a minor problem to me. One of the problems is that the actual shovel piece here is not exactly painted in the way that it should, like it does in the show. As you can see, even on the box, and in the show, his horns were actually blue, while here it's just the standard black. So it's a bit annoying that they didn't actually paint that, but it's just a minor gripe of mine. Another problem is that he's a little bit on the thicker side. He is a little bit skinnier in the show, but it's not the worst I've seen. But to me, I think the major problem is that he suffers from that weird shoulder ball joint, where since it is on a separate joint to allow a little bit more movement, it is a bit strange when you move some of the joints. So that is a bit annoying when it comes to some Transformers that are designed like that. Anyways, we're going to take a look at the box. It shows Thunderhoof in his vehicle mode here, as normal. It shows a picture of Thunderhoof, as shown earlier. Transfers in 8 steps, and it's just a standard RID Warrior box. Now, there is another version of the figure, which I heard is just a full-on repack, where it actually says Minicon Weaponizer. But interesting enough, I actually thought I would actually get that version. But actually, I guess Hasbrotoyshop has listed just the standard version, which is okay, since it's pretty much the same toy anyway. Anyways, we'll take a look at Thunderhoof directly. Articulation-wise, his head is on a swivel. And that's pretty much it, even though this piece can kind of move back and forth, but that's mainly towards the transformation and not so much main articulation. He has the shoulders on ball joints, as mentioned earlier, but as you can see, just by the way it's designed, you kind of need to play around with it in order to get it into different positions. So it is a bit annoying that it's got that shoulder joint in the way that it's designed. He does have upwards on the arm movement there. He has ball joints in the elbows, and that's it for the hands. He has no waist... Oh, no, sorry. He has waist articulation, but it's a bit tight, and you kind of need to move it around since pieces do get in the way of movement. He has ball-jointed hips, so you can actually have a wide range of movement, but it's a little bit loose on mine, which is unfortunate. He has swivels in the thighs. He has more than 90 degrees in the knees due to transformation, and his feet can pivot a bit due to transformation as well. He has this really interesting looking saw blade kind of gun weapon, but I wish it had a little bit more paint to it, so it is a bit bland. It has a lot of details, but without paint, it is a bit bland overall. We're going to take the gun off the side and go on to the transformation. The transformation is pretty simple, but it also has some interesting things going for it. First, you're going to turn the head, and you're going to pull down this piece. So now the front piece is now laying down. What you're going to do next is pull up the chest, so it looks like this, and you're going to bend it forward like that. So now it becomes the front of the vehicle mode. And now we're going to unpeg the arms from the sides of the chest here. And we're going to make sure that we turn the waist and peg these together, like that. Slide the feet into the cavity there, and you're going to kind of just push this into the body up here, so now it becomes the front wheels. You need to move it around just a bit in order to get into place, but once you do, it stays on pretty secure, so one moment. It's a bit tricky sometimes due to the way that the legs are designed. Still trying to get them all together, and I think that's about it for that. What we're going to do next is slide the arms around, and then we're going to collapse the hands into the cavity there. And these will become the back wheels, which you need to move this around a bit in order to get everything secure. So let's see. Okay, there. For some reason, I was having a hard time actually sliding into position like that. So now, as you can see, now it's in the correct position. And these will actually just peg into the area there, which we'll see here and over here. Both sides. Then we're going to slide these over on the back here, and this will become the back part of the tractor mode. And they'll snap into place. And then they'll snap together. And there we have Thunderhoof in his tractor mode. Now, his tractor mode is a bit underwhelming. It is extremely small, and it's actually quite surprising since the height of the road mode isn't that bad, but its vehicle mode is kind of lame, just because it is extremely tiny, and especially when you compare it with the other vehicles and robots in the skies in the warrior class, yeah, it really doesn't work too well in terms of size. This can, if I remember correctly, can actually be pegged up here, since it looks like it's got an area where you can peg this in. So now you can actually store it on the top of the tractor mode, or if you don't like the gun actually being exposed, there is another place where you could peg it in. As you can see at the bottom here, there's a hole in the cavity right there. And you're actually going to take the peg, make sure that this faces this direction, since it doesn't really fit in the other direction. And you're just going to peg it in, and there we go. Now, it's fully concealed, and you can still roll with no issues. Since he does have the hard plastic tires, that's about as much of a roll you can get with just one push, and you kind of need to keep your hand on it in order to get it rolling a little better. But that's pretty much it for Thunderhoof. Thunderhoof, while it's not the most epic Transformer in terms of just a Transformers toy, the transformation is very simple. It does have some really interesting steps, but the overall sense of the toy is still a very simple toy in the overall aspect of just the design. However, doesn't change the fact that it is still pretty screen accurate, regardless of a few minor areas, and it does work really nicely to fit as a part of the Warrior Transformers Robots in Disguise 2016 collection. And I think they did a pretty nice job designing the toy, even though it has its own set of limitations. So I highly recommend picking this up, since it's still a really nice Warrior Class toy, and just nice to see more Decepticons in the Warrior Class line, since for a while it's just been non-stop Autobots and Autobot repaints. So Thunderhoof along with Quillfire is still really nice, and I highly recommend picking them up. Anyways, I got these from Hasbrotoyshop, and I think as of this recording, it's still available, so it's best to check out Hasbrotoyshop. Maybe Toys R Us has it one day, but due to the fact that they have raised the prices on the website, it is a little bit easier to maybe get it directly from Hasbrotoyshop directly. Anyways, please comment, subscribe, and check out Hirotaku. Also, please check me out on Twitter under Darkon633, and please check down the other channels down below. I'll be back to bring Quillfire next, but for now, I'll be sending you to bye.